Hi, it's Stuart at Break the Mould Furniture here. In this video I'll be showing how to make a £200 fire door blank into a £2,000 bespoke oak door. So the first thing I did was put solid oak lippings on the edging of the door so that when the veneer comes up to the edge it'll look like a solid oak door. So I went on and sanded the door just so that the veneer, the glue for the veneer has something to take to, basically taking the shine off the door and giving the glue a key so that it gets a better grip. And the edges of the lippings just needed slightly sanded to make them flush with the fire door blank. So I had bought the fire door blank. It was £200 and it was a 8 foot by 4 foot blank. These gloves were absolutely brilliant. I bought them anti-vibration gloves, and this was the first time I used them, and what a difference they made. Hardly felt anything. Wee bit of hydration there and sharpen the pencil. So I had cut pieces of 4mm oak veneered MDF for the stiles and rails of the door. So I'm just using that here to mark out where the stiles and rails will be so that I can have a guide to where I need to veneer. So where the panels for the door will be a 0.5mm paperback veneer, and where the stiles and rails are, I'm using 4mm oak veneered MDF so that you get that difference in height, so that when the stiles and rails are applied, they look thicker than the panel in the door. It'll give a more realistic look. So the idea of this was that so the flat that it was going into in the West End of Glasgow, it needed to have a fire rated door, but they wanted it to look like a bespoke oak door. So it took a fair bit of work to get it to where they wanted, but the end result was worth it. So here I'm gluing the paperback veneers with contact adhesive. So the adhesive needs to be applied to the veneer and also to the substrate, which here is the fire door blank. So I'm applying the adhesive with a foam roller, and then it needs to be left until it dries, and then when the two surfaces meet, it adheres instantly, which is good because there was a bit of a short time that I had to get this door complete. So hence why I'm using the contact adhesive. Normally if I was veneering like a tabletop or something, I would use PVA and put the tabletop with the veneer in a vacuum bag. The vacuum bag acts like a clamp to clamp the veneer down. So here I'm just applying the contact adhesive to the door, but I had a bit of a screw up. The foam roller that I was using started to come apart on the door because of the glue was sticking. So I tried using a scraper, tried using a brush, but this was absolutely useless. It was just making a mess. So I went and found a small roller, one of the hairy rollers, for want of a better word. So it was better than the foam roller. It didn't come apart on the door. So I'm just applying the adhesive to the areas where the veneer will be, and then what I'll do is use small pieces of wood across the glue, so that when I put the veneer over it, I can lay it out where it needs to be without it sticking directly. Because as I said, once the two surfaces come in contact, that's it, it's stuck. So just flattened it out, used a flat piece of wood just to press the veneer down, and here, as you can see, are the small pieces, thin pieces of wood, just so I can line it up, see where it needs to be, and then remove them and press it down into place. So it's a quick way of getting a veneered finish without the hassle of using the vacuum bag. But you only get one shot at it. If you mess it up, then that's it, it's done. So I'm using a veneer hammer there just to press the veneer down and make sure it's got good contact. So then I'm just brushing away any dust before I start to glue down the oak veneered stiles and rails. So for these, I'm just cutting them to length on the Festool Capex KS60, which is a saw that I upgraded to last year, and it's a brilliant saw. So here I'm setting up to glue the surfaces. So this roller is what I use for my PVA glue, and it just gives the perfect amount of glue each time. It's a bit of a hassle to clean out, but it makes life easier when gluing veneers and thin pieces. So I'm just gluing each piece and pushing it down where it needs to be, and I will then put some weight on it with some heavier pieces of wood and clamp it down until the glue dries. So it went well, this job. Took a bit longer than expected. The material costs run over, so I suppose it could have went better, but the clients were happy with the door at the end of the day, and I was happy with it, so that's always a bonus. So that's me, all the pieces put together, and now went over them with the veneer hammer to press them down, but it needs clamped. So I put some pieces of sapelli, so there was a good bit of weight on it, and clamped it down to hold the stiles in place. I then put these pieces on where the rails are, and I tried putting some weight on it, but it wasn't enough, so then had to put some clamps on. In the middle section, I couldn't get clamps deep enough to go, so I had to just rely on the weight of tins of paint for this. I then made the beading in oak, so I bought a set of cutters for the spindle moulder, and I run my own beads, which turned out really well. I think it was definitely the way to go. In the past, I've had to buy these sort of mouldings in. Whereas last year I invested in a spindle moulder, and now I can make them in-house. I don't need to rely on someone else to supply them. So these were all cut, mitred at 45 degrees and placed in. I then glued the back and pinned them in. And then as this door is situated inside, it's not exposed to the weather, so we used a water-based lacquer to finish the door, which gave quite a nice natural finish. So there we go, it's looking good. And then we applied the finish, and this is the end result. So if you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel for more.